This fall, we are going to be in the book of Exodus, which if you love a good story with a lot of twists and turns, you will love the book of Exodus. We're starting in chapter 2 this weekend, and it's going to be the birth of Moses. And in chapter 2, we see how unusual his birth was and how God had protected him and brought him to the point of, you get a sense that Moses had an inclination of what God was calling him to, because at one point he saw the Israelites, his family, extended family, that they were, one Israelite was being abused by an Egyptian. And so Moses responded out of probably a sincere desire to take care of the Israelites, feeling called to protect the Israelites, but he did it in his own power. And we see that Moses made a big mess of things. And so God had placed a call on Moses' life. I believe that Moses was seeing that, and yet when he responded to this call in his own power, he made a mess of things. And it wasn't until Moses had to flee and left Egypt, where someday he would return and God would use him in a miraculous way, but he actually had to leave and he had to go to the wilderness for 40 years. In the 40, the number 40 is actually quite significant in the scriptures, that 40 is often used as a time of training, equipping, testing. Jesus was tempted in the wilderness for 40 years. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for Jesus for 40 days. The Israelites wandered in the wilderness for 40 years. Elijah was in fleeing for 40 days, and he was in a cave. And so this idea of 40 was a significant time. It's symbolic of training and equipping. And it wasn't until Moses spent those 40 years in the wilderness that he was prepared and ready and equipped to do the things that God had always placed on his heart from the very beginning. And I can't help but think about where we are today with COVID and how COVID has kind of brought us into the wilderness, and how this virus has got us asking lots of questions and wondering where God is, and what is the future for the church, and what is the future for our economy, and what's the future for this and that. And I'm reminded of the Moses story and how God often takes us to a place of isolation, a place of desert, a place of wilderness, not to punish us, but to train and to equip and prepare us. And eventually God was going to use this time to do something remarkable, not only in Moses' life, but for all God's people. And so I can't help but wonder, church, during this time of lots of questions and wandering around in the wilderness of COVID, if God is not going to stir something in you and in us as a church to bring about great redemption for all people. I know that this has been a challenging time for people in the church, and my heart breaks for many of you. I hear your stories. I hear loneliness. I hear the stories of people passing away and no service has been able to be had, or people in hospitals and you're not able to visit because of this. And I just want you to know, church, that God is up to something, that your pastoral staff, your church cares for you, is praying for you, that we want to be of an encouragement to you. I want to encourage you to call the church if you're going through something hard, or if you need prayer, if you need a pastoral call, please call us. The phone number for the church is 559-734-1117. And my extension is extension 28. And so I just want you to call if you need a pastoral visit, just to encourage you. If you want to talk about something, please do. But above that, God knows. God knows what you're going through. And God is a God that works in mysterious ways. And He's going to use this time to bring about good things in your own life, the life of the church, as an expression of God's love for all the people. Thank you. I look forward to starting Exodus with you. I can't wait to see you this weekend. Blessings.